you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 6v6 custom here on the map DUALGAP. This is a very special cast here today. It marks the 100th cast here on the channel. So again, thank you so much for sticking with me to this point, and I hope that you'll be with me for another 100. So let's go ahead and introduce our players and team, starting with the team here on the western side of the map and ending with Team 2 on the eastern side of the map. Let's start here in the northwest. Player of Potato Ballistics might have a air potato can here somewhere in the vicinity, but we'll have to see about that. He's going first. Land in Light Oak Tan as an Aeon. To his southeast, we have Camp Kicks 500. I'll call him Camp. He's going first. Land in Chevy Crimson as a Cybran, going with those K's and C's in his name and color. To his southeast, we have Happy Song going first air as Stitch Blue as an Aeon. So 2 Aeon and a Cybran here on the northern side for Team 1. Down here in the south for Team 1 also, we have Pietov going first air as a Seraphim in Amethyst Purple in the Eco slot here for Team 1. To his southwest, in one of the, I think you could do Navy, you could also do air in this position as well. We have Battleship Suki, I think it's Battleship Suki, going first, land probably second air in Royal Blue. And last but not least here for Team 1 in Pac-Man Yellow, we have Andreski, I think that's how you say it, going first, land second air, again in Pac-Man Yellow as an UEF. So on Team 1 side of things for racial makeup, we have 2 Aeon, 2 Seraphim, and Cybran, and a UEF. So all of the races represented here for Team 1. To the east here, starting with the northeast corner in Forest Green, very sensible color, we have Terranet going first, land second air as a Seraphim. Going to build probably some all-washer bombers and maybe some Zooey here on this northern side, but we'll have to check on as things goes on. And he is in Forest Green as a Seraphim. Already has a transport loaded on to the western center of the map. We have the player of Nubian Noob. I think I'll call him New for now. He is going first air as a Cybran in Ruby Red. And his other partner here, Esperanto, as well as a Cybran going orange, the color orange, first land, second air. These are going to be the 2 land players here for Team 2. The southeast side of the map, we have Nikop going first land, second, third Navy. So going to get his hand into the Navy game as well. Usually this position is eco. Sometimes it kind of flips here with this center position as well. So there's a lot of utility that can happen here for the southern side of DUALGAP. But he is going again in Tropical Ocean Blue as a Cybran. In Royal Purple, we have Toka going as a Cybran as well, going first land, second air. And he will probably be focusing on air for the time being. And last but not least here for Team 2, we have Folky Wolf. We're going to call him Wolf. He's going first land, second air, third air as well. In Barbie Pink as an Aeon. So for Team 2 side of things, we have... was it 1 Seraphim, 1, 2, 3, 4 Cybran, and 1 Aeon. No UEF tech on the eastern side of the map. We will have to see if that ends up helping or hurting them in the long run. They'll have 4 telemaser comms. We'll see if that plays into it as time goes on. Actually, I can just make this a little bit smaller just for this video because it is DUALGAP. I can push it just a little bit so it's not taking up so much of the screen. Land incursions and fighting already going down here in the middle of the map, scooping up all of this juicy reclaim. And in terms of reclaim, we have available to our players 12,900. Probably was about, I think it's like 14. I mean, a lot of these rocks are already gone. Probably maybe even 15,000 mass here on the map starting off. So lots of mass to scoop up, turn that into mexes. And of course, each player starts off with 8 mexes in their main base. So a lot of upgrading for tech. A lot of mass FAF farms will start to appear here shortly. T2 already on the way for Esperanto. He is the highest rated player in the game by a decent margin. He is a 2,500. And the second highest rated player in the game is Team 1's player of Happy Song at 1,800, with the lowest ranks appearing on Team 2 tied for 1100, being Nikop and Terranet. So we'll see if it is the law of averages here on the western side, or it is the outliers here to the east. And that upgrade is already 33% of the way done. The rocks do look like they're starting to favor Team 2. They have a couple of mechs already being built here, and then wouldn't be surprised to grab these rocks here pretty quickly. These rocks are worth 100 and, is that 80? 100, hold on, 138 mass. Looks like a 3. Maybe that's a 0. That looks like a 0. That is a 0. Okay, never mind. For some reason, it looks like a 3. But anyway, there's a couple hundred mass here in the middle. Almost all of them are gone on this western side here for camp. He'll probably move into the east and grab these ones as well. Gun speed and range going down here for Happy. And camp looked like he was going for an upgrade. Maybe he was doing something else. Maybe he stopped. But don't break, says Toka. Are we talking about going for just, I guess, going for tech would be the fastest he can get. He's already at T2, building his T2 engineers. That, I guess, is the eco slot. My apologies for that. But it does look like the player of Pietov not going in the Navy right now like his mirror is currently doing. And he's going for a lot of T2 mechs upgrades and going for a T2 layer upgrade as well. So we potentially have 2 eco players here. Oh, I guess he is expanding here in the Navy as well. Going for the more frontline position here versus the more conservative defensive play here right next to the beach. Pretty much all of the mechs on the map have been grabbed except for the 4 center ones here and one of them up here. But we have a Mantis going after those in the middle. Killed that engineer off. Happy Song trying to push forward against Esperanto. 2 PD have already been spammed up here for Esperanto. Will Happy push forward? No, he will not. You'll have to retreat. That's a lot of PD. Another one's coming online and 2 more after that. That's going to be enough to halt the advancement of this comm for now. Radar will give him a nice little bit of range to see what's going on that other side of things. You can see how far out it goes. But again, the ranges of those PD is a lot just outside of range of that radar. But if he just puts another one a little bit farther forward, he can secure this position quite heavily. Ping's going down here, saying probably going for moving something. I don't know, but probably he's going after those rocks. Don't know what that move ping was about, but it didn't really affect him too much. We have again base wars starting to appear here. Actually, for the Cybern player first, he wanted to ensure he secured these 4 mechs here in the middle. Versus Happy Song, he has to draw back because of the fact that the PD is already there. He's at the disadvantage. We already have naval combat here in the middle. We have a couple of frigates versus 1 frigate and some boats. There's more subs. There's more subs here for the Tropical Ocean player of Nikop, but there's more frigates here for Pietov. But Pietov can't shoot the frigates T1, so he needs T2 units to shoot at them. And he's building more and more frigates, it looks like. He needs to build more and more boats. There is 1 T1 torpedo launcher, but unfortunately, it's not currently in range. He's building more subs, I guess, all the time. Yeah, those are frigates. So maybe he's going to build some more subs after that. But 5 versus 3 will only result in one way, except if those units here from Nikop are already damaged. But we have a little bit of air combat, a little flying over the top here for both of our players. Does look like a transport came out through the middle for being noob, but was shot down, unfortunately. We have a couple of T2 Rhinos appearing here for camp. He's going to push forward, try to take out this group of Mantis. I mean, I feel like this isn't that much of a good push. I mean, yeah, there's, 2 pretty heavy tanks, but I guess the Mantis were not given orders to attack, and they will be summarily destroyed. A couple of PD will be spammed up back here. Going for flak first, and now going for Cerberus. Where we can see the wall in construction has been built. The shield is actually down. Doesn't want to activate it for now. Maybe he's having power issues right now. He's having power issues, so no shield online. But again, he's secured the middle. One of the mechs has gone down, but he has 3 of the 4 of them. I would call that a win for now. Those Rhinos are facing heavy resistance now. They pushed a little bit too far forward too quickly, and now they were outnumbered. Those Mantis will retreat once more, but they were killed, the 2 offending Rhinos. Southeast T3 has been achieved here for Team 2 as well as for Team 1. We have T2 almost completed here for the other player of Team 2, the other air player here for Wolf, and then for the West, it is a little bit behind here for Andreski, but I'd say fairly on par. You know, a couple seconds behind isn't the worst thing on the planet. You still have to think about travel time, but T3 Air has already been achieved here for these top players as well. So 3 of the 6 players are going for air, actually for Team 2, and for Team 1 we have 2 players on T2. Of course, one's going T3 as we speak, the other one already at T3. So potentially 4 players in the air for Team 1. So that might give them the advantage in the air, while Team 2 focusing more on taking up their naval and ground game. Range going down here for Happy Song in the middle of the map. Wants to be able to attack at range. Probably should go for the advanced range just to pierce this position. 5 of these Cerberus with flak, with TMD. The little tough nut to crack, even more building all the time. He notices that his opponent is fighting with these even songs, which is interesting because his name is Happy Song. And so he's taking out his mexes at range. Fearing that, Esperanto quickly devises a counter, which is just more TMD. Very good on his front, seeing what his enemy is doing and then countering it directly. Very good move on his front. Even has a group of fire beetles grouping up in the back. Maybe he's going to try to assassinate the comm of Happy Song with some explosions. Very explosive start here. Would be very interesting to watch that. No comms have died so far at 11 minutes, and usually they don't die unless one player is being heavily aggressive. Usually it's kind of slow. It's a little bit of slow build up. Maybe there's some land grabbing, naval combat a little bit. There's not a whole lot of like back and forth in the very beginning. But, once it gets to like 25, 30 minutes, then is when stuff kicks off really heavily. But having T2 already on the field here for Team 2's naval player of Nikop will definitely give them the advantage in this naval game. It will probably force back the comm of Happy Song and his forces, securing at least the southern portion of the land here for Team 2. It looks like these forces are going to push this naval force here. They're thinking about it. But Fire Beetle's trying to maneuver around those PD here against Happy Song. Happy Song finishes his shield upgrade, so has even more hit points on his comm. He doesn't have a rank of veterancy. He doesn't have any points to it, but Fire Beetles, some of them are given the order to go in. They take out the shield, and at least one of the mechs is not really really worth it, though. These are trying to avoid as much as possible, but frigate fire from the southern side of that beach will drive them northward, but I think that's their goal. They're going to start to explode. They do have cloaking on those units, so they'll be able to navigate a lot more. Taking out the rear line mexes. One of the PD goes down. I'm taking out the mexes. That's the main targets. There's a couple more left. These forces are falling back. More fire beetles being pushed on the front lines. Oblivion's trying to shoot them the best they can. Takes out one of them, but there's still more incoming. Happy Song, noticing the threat, decides to retreat. With those assisting bombardments from the Navy, he will be forced to retreat quite heavily. Oh, that would be a good grab, taking out that Pigeon very early on. Takes out the land facility here. It takes out the Pigeon. Oh, it's going to hurt Happy Song's eco. How's he doing? Well, he's barely positive. He's like pretty much zeroed out. Flickering on and off. Probably going to get some overflow from his teammates, but a consistent push here on the top side here for Camp is going to slowly probably push back in, I was going to say Encanto, but Esperanto here to the south. More fire beetles are inbound. They're going after the mexes and going after anything and everything of value. Oh, it takes out one structure. Ooh, that's got to hurt. Takes out almost another one. A couple more fire beetles will come in, take out the rest of this base. This base is gone. There is a fire base here, of course, and the fire base here, and the main base over here for Team 2's player of, what is his name? Noob will be forced to fall back. Those fire beetles did very well to take out 2 bases here for 2 players on Team 1 side of things. That's definitely going to slow down Team 1 in that land game, pretty much giving Esperanto the lead. He is a 2500, so that is a different... We usually don't see a lot of fire beetles, so it's kind of, it's interesting to see players that are using these units that hardly anybody uses anymore to great effect. Love to see that use of tech because what's the point in having it if you don't use it? Rhinos are pushing against Rhinos. It is a Cybran on Cybran affair here. Engineers trying to build more T2 land facilities to pump out more units, but there's just so many more of these Rhinos here for Team 1's player of Camp. He is fighting, you know, the ranking isn't that terribly mismatched, but the Fire Beetles will be given in, taking out 3 of those Rhinos, and then takes out the other one as well. They are very deadly at close range, as you have seen. ASF production here for both teams in full swing. We have 1, 2, 3 players again at T3 air versus probably, yep, T3 is coming on the way, potentially 4 T3. And this position probably will pump out maybe some bombers, at least torpedo bombers. Maybe they'll pump out some strat bombers or something. But we have a Exodus class being assaulted by a bunch of these forces from the COP. We have another player on Team 1 going into Navy. They went straight for T2. Maybe they'll go straight for T3 as well, but they are producing at least a couple. At least they produced that one Exodus just to assist Pietov with the naval side of things. He has finished his T3 facility. We'll start pumping out engineers and PGens and a whole bunch of other goodies for his team. Air grids being pumped out here for both Southern players, actually going for more of a mass FAF farm, relying heavily on that eco, even getting a nice chunky little section of mass FABs for T2 variety, and then obviously the T3 variety as well. The air grids are the focus here for the North and Southern air players. No, he's focusing more on his eco. Would like to see at least one more facility from Potato Ballistics. Such an interesting name, Potato Ballistics, just talking about the ballistics of firing a potato through an air can or compressed air gun. Very fun project to do in middle school and high school. Just have a potato gun and shoot that at targets. Very, very fun to do. Of course, the direct fire weapons, I feel like, are superior to a lot of the projectile weapons because they hardly ever miss. And if they do miss, they're switching targets. But the 2 destroyers and the 1 cruiser providing a lot more firepower than just a couple of these frigates. And now these destroyers here for Team 1's player of Pietov will be outnumbered. He'll be forced to retreat. There's just so much firepower coming off of these destroyers and cruisers. That is the one main advantage to Cybran cruisers, is the fact they have a lot more projectile weapons for taking out naval units versus taking out either ground units with missiles or air units with their AA. They still have AA, but again, they're more designed to be like a frontline cruiser rather than a rear cruiser. Down up to, I was going to say down here in the east, but over here to the east, mass FAB farms are galore here for the player of Toka. I was saying Toga, but Toka. He's building some shields to protect his facilities here, his mass FABs, his mass extractors, and even getting a missile defense online as well, just to ensure he is protected. Of course, this map is very much known for their game enders, artillery, nukes, a whole bunch of goodies, so we expect to see lots of things in this game. We have a small band of units coasting this northern side. We're even going to take out a T2 radar facility. That's going to be a great grab here for Team 1, knocking out the enemy radar. Always a good idea. And even more fire beetles assaulting this main position here for Camp. Camp just being constantly assaulted. Even the player of Happy Song has retreated and actually just said, nope, I am done. You take land. You try to fight on land, and I'll go for it. He's given everything up but his comm, building RAS as we speak. We even have T4 units at 18 minutes. 19 minutes, essentially. Tempest already in the yellow. So we have Camp using that eco that he got from Happy to just pump out an experimental, and that will definitely shift the tide of battle in the Navy towards Team 1 side of things, unless they notice it. But Team 2 has built now an Aeon facility and a Cybran T3 facility, so we expect to see Galaxy classes and, of course, the Exodus classes here from the Aeon. We do have a Monkey Lord in the middle there, so for the first experimental of the game, it is from Esperanto. This position does not have enough forces or defenses on the ground. There is one brick in there, but that is summarily destroyed in this position will fall fairly quickly. There's really not a whole lot on the ground here to the west, so it's going to be a huge land win here for Esperanto here in the middle. He'll secure the center Mexes, at least the center column of Mexes, and then continue westward. Team 1 needs something to fight against this. Some T1 bombers, Janus, Nothas, something to fight this. But they keep this online long enough. Team 2 will secure the middle. So while Team 1 is going more Navy, Team 2 is going more land. At least one of the players is, at least. And now that Tempest is built at 20 minutes. And that has a large range on that unit. It is the, what is it, the red, the reddish blue line. Okay, so it's, I think the sonar, yeah, the sonar is the green. And then the torpedoes and main cannon are the red and blue. And then I think it's torpedo defense is the orange. Oh, there's also radar. So maybe this is radar. Well, we'll see in a second once it comes in. I'm trying to remember what all the lines are different colors for different things, and it's a little annoying. But I think this is, I mean, this is radar. This is sonar and gun. This is torpedoes, and then this is torpedo defense, I think. Yeah, I think the green line is the radar. But anyway, that little distraction. Is he building another one? Nope, not yet. But he is going to transport them somewhere else. We are having pings from one player or another. Already building a Hovatham at 21 minutes. The player of Battleship Suki is wanting to end the game early, which I feel like in DUALGAP, if you don't finish the game early, it's kind of like, what are you doing? Or at least have a plan early, like, what are you doing? But we already have a YOLO, and it's already being pinged by Team 1. They know where it is. And that is going to be huge for Team 2 in terms of the game enders here. At 21 minutes, it's already started. How quickly is that going to finish? And like I said earlier, that monkey took in a lot of damage, but that whole northwestern side is gone. Artillery raining in here from the Tempest. The Tempest actually going to hold position. And yes, that is that red ring. That it is its fire. Shot comes in, takes out 8,000 hit points. One more shot will kill the monkey outright. There's a couple of Cerberus turrets nearby, but one more shot will do it. This experimental will probably get the veterancy. Yep, gets a veterancy for it, and that will wrap up his hit points and speed at which he recovers them as well. So a little bit more chunky on that little donut in the water here for Team 1. Are they building anything else here in the rear? We have, of course, the artillery on the southern side of the map. Building, yep, need SMD here. Of course, you got to build SMD. If you don't build SMD pretty early in this game, you're going to feel it later on. A interesting design for the air grid here for the yellow player. We have mass fabs intermixed with the air facilities. Going to reduce the cost of a lot of those units, which, I mean, it's smart when you don't have a whole lot of mass or when you're trying to conserve some mass. But that Hovatham, 22 minutes and it's already done. Wow, that eco player here, and he's building a YOLO as well. Or at least it's planned out to build it. Maybe he's going to target the YOLO directly. That would be my guess, because why not? And this YOLO is already at 33% of the way there. Going to close in at 5,000 of its 12,000 hit points. That is a very fast, very quick YOLO. And shield's already starting to fall. Looks like they're targeting the SMD first, already getting teledefense as well. I would like to see him target the mass fab farm here in the middle. Of course, we have hives to protect the two shields. Bunch of, obviously, power and mass fabs. How many mass fabs is this? 9, and they each produce 16. So call it 10. 160, 140 mass just in this little circle here, just from the mass fabs. And obviously we have 27 from each of the actual mass extractors. So he, doing pretty well for himself. Already at 439, pretty much to be expected of the eco player here for Team 2. And for Team 1's player, Battleship Suki, well, he's pretty much keeping on par with him fairly well. I mean, it hovers back and forth, but it's not outrageous. But airfire over the top of Team 2's main front line. The ASF here for Team 1 will retreat, but it does look like more ASFs from Team 1 will come in, and Team 2 will collide as well. So a huge air fight going to commence here fairly quickly. Oh, the turns are not great. Oh, it's a couple of SAM sites shooting at those ASF, but almost all the green ones are gone. Now it's just the yellow and tan left remaining. And again, haven't been able to use that Tempest a lot more against the naval factories and units. They're building their own Tempest as we speak to counter it. It's not a little too late, I think, for that, but a couple of sub-killers will try to push forward. There are torpedo defenses, of course, on the T2 destroyers. They will be shoved back, but now the Tempest is firing on those main units. They're retreating as best they can, but a frigate gets annihilated by one of those shots. Grouping them up together is not a good idea because those Tempest has a lot of AoE splash. Even having some cruisers mixed in needs to keep those units moving at all times. Team 2 cannot afford to keep them idle. We even have a Galaxy class built, but of course more and more cruisers line the southern side, and of course missiles coming in from these. Actually, they're missiles. They are sub-hunters, not missiles. They're taking out the mexes in the water. Very nice addition to the game, being able to build mexes and supporting structures around them on the sea floor. Very nice addition to the game to utilize them to the most efficient, whatever the word for it is. But it's going to leave with one cruiser. That cruiser will summarily die, trying to trigger the movement from the battleships. It works. And now this front line here for Team 1 will engage the main line. The battleship, the Tempest, going after the destroyers. That's a good move. Take out the damage and then focus on all of the little small adds. Definitely a strategic move there from camp. Nobody has died 26 minutes, which is either very common or very rare, depending on how you look at DUALGAP. I feel like it's kind of in the middle, where usually like a land player dies, but in this case, of course, Happy Song has gifted everything over to one of his teammates, so technically he's out, but not really. But the units here from Team 2 are swarming this Tempest. It's at 4 ranks of veterancy. We'll get to 5 here. A lot of sub-hunters or sub-killers, at least for the Cybran variety here, these Barracudas. The Tempest targeting the Galaxy class, wanting to take out that chunky ship. There should be another one coming off the line. Yep, and the Tempest is third of the way done here for Team 2. We even have now another player getting into the naval game. T3 facility already online, building a Galaxy as we speak. Trying to help the best they can. These destroyers getting annihilated pretty much by one shot of the Tempest. We even have a Omen on its way with an additional Hathum backing up with another Omen as well. So a lot of resources going into the Navy game to try to push back Team 2 on that side of the map. And you can just see the influence that Team 1 now has over the middle. They've regained a lot of it and have pushed a decent amount of Team 2's forces back eastward. But of course, we have that YOLO to deal with now. It just finished. It is at 27 minutes. That is a very, I wouldn't say very early YOLO, but I guess it depends on early for FAF or early for DUALGAP. I feel like for DUALGAP it's a little early, but it's not that absurd. I feel like nice little zoom in on that little YOLO there. Very powerful structure, of course. I love the look of the nuke when it goes off. It isn't shot down by anti-nukes. How is Team 1's YOLO looking? Well, they're building it here now. They were going to build it over here, but they moved it. But they are summarily behind. They're only about a third of the way there. They have to prime a whole bunch of SMD, and you would assume, you would assume that it would go for the YOLO on the other team. So now that YOLO is essentially locked to take out the other YOLO, because it's essentially you let them build it, and if they out SMD you, they win. So now you're it's like when artillery gets locked in at one another. It's pretty much, well, we either shoot at the thing that's shooting us, or we let it just keep shooting at us while we shoot other things, and maybe we'll lose the cannon because of that. So shields are starting to buckle, and more shields are being built. Would like to see at least 3, 4 more, one at the north, south, east, west, just to protect this YOLO a lot better. But the nukes are coming out fairly quickly, And they're actually starting to reclaim some of the mass fabs. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for RASCOMs. Usually some of these players go for RASCOMs, but it does look like his strategy was just specifically for the YOLO. Pings going down here to the northwest. Looks like a couple of SMDs being spammed up. We have one loaded here. Well, one almost loaded here. One just barely started. We have none there. Ooh, it looks like it is going northwest. There's no nuke. Anti-nukes loaded. This position might just die here for Team 1. That would be a huge loss for them. Especially they're doing so well. Camp is doing so well in both the land and the naval side of things. His Tempest providing a lot of support, and his Omens as well. A lot of these Barracudas are making it very difficult for them to deal with, but they do ground fire and kill them anyway. But the YOLO nuke lands. Kaboom! Takes out 2 bases here for Team 1, dropping Camp's eco to 30 mass a second. That is almost like pretty much... Oh, he's now 53. No, don't change. There we go. 62. Going up a little bit. Maybe he's upgrading some mexes here. But nothing here for Team 1 on that northwestern side. The land players are essentially knocked out. Another nuke will land. There isn't an SMD back here. They just finished building a shield. That's not going to protect you. An SMD was started and then was summarily abandoned. It does look like with the advantage of the YOLO been built probably a little bit earlier than Team 1 expected, this will do devastating amounts of damage here for Team 1, knocking out essentially this whole northern side of those main bases. Oh, man, it's going to hurt. Keeps going, keeps going. Another nuke will then finish off the rest of the air grid. Wow. Team 2's player of Toka being, you have nothing. You get nothing, and you will like it. you will own nothing and be happy, essentially. But, geez, that is a lot. That thing has already killed 258,000 mass 30 minutes in. That is a lot of mass destroyed. Does Team 1 have theirs built yet? Nope. Still in the... Oh, just went into the green, so above 75%. But Team 1 needs to get their stuff together. Yeah, there's a lot of anti-nukes already loaded, and a lot of them just spattered all around the place. They do have... The one shining thing is they have 1 artillery. So they have something to fire at Team 2 all the time. Not that it's really doing a whole lot, but at least it's trying. At least it's trying to puncture some shields. There's just not enough lack of shielding here for that YOLO to really do anything. And they've taken out a lot of their mass fabs. Sticking with, I guess it's just 1, and then they have a SMD right here. And they're building SMD in preparation for their opponents. So they are very much prepared for the incoming YOLO threat. Is the northern side prepared the same way? They have 1 built here, and they have 1 built here. So they'll be able to stop probably 1 or 2 of those YOLOs, and that is it. They don't have enough SMD on that northern side. But now the Navy is under threat here for Team 1. Right in the middle, another nuke. Make sure it kills everything off. Maybe they'll clip Happy Song. Where is he going? Is he on an upgrade? No, he doesn't have... Yeah, he's on an upgrade for doing something. But that facility's taken out. Team 1 taking L's left and right, or in this case, north and middle. Actually, in that example, it would be top and middle. And this is bot. Another YOLO nuke. This is pretty much just kind of overkill at this point. All those facilities are gone. Man, what is the mass total at now here for Team 2? 317,000. Doesn't have a rank of veterancy yet, but it will be pretty soon. Invasion to the north by a crab. There is a counter crab defending. Where's the next YOLO? It's going here. So instead of Team 2 saying we'll put everything into this position, the other positions aren't really that well guarded. So we'll take that out. And then once we take that out, we'll take the other main base. And then we'll take the front line. So this is just total carnage here for Team 2. They're just taking everything out. And just as they were losing some of the ground game and the Navy game, they've combated quite heavily with that YOLO. The one critical move, one critical structure takes out a huge amount of infrastructure. But now we have the first YOLO nuke here from Team 1. It is going for that air base here to the south. We have 0, 0, 2. So 1, 1, so 3, 4, 5. And now we're just going to hear strategic launch every like couple of minutes until one of them is actually both of them are dead. The first nuke will come in. Let's see, will they edge it out? First anti-nuke goes, anti-nuke goes. That one is diverted. Another nuke is launched, and now it's just going to be nuclear carnage back and forth. Would like to see one go north and try to do a similar thing that happened to Team 1, just to try to fight back against them. But another YOLO nuke will actually go after the Navy directly this time. A missile ship just gets annihilated by that thing. Will the Tempest, the 5-star Tempest, survive? Still online. Yep, it survives. And there's that YOLO nuke coming in. Another nuke launches here for Team 2. A lot of back and forth here in this game with the nukes. Looks like they're trying to edge out these SMD down here. First nuke, second anti-nuke goes off. So this one is not loaded. This one isn't loaded. This one isn't loaded. And this one isn't loaded. I don't think the other ones are. They're loaded, but I don't think they're in range. Oh, no, they're still in range. Okay. So it would be better to put it like right here. A lot of AE storage, a lot of SAMs trying to protect the YOLO, trying to deter any drop bomber rushes or, you know, runs, I should say. But another nuke will come in. Maybe it'll try to edge out this side of the map first and second, take it out. There's a lot. Looks like I feel like there's a lot more anti-nukes here for Team 1. Yeah, they're targeting the air grid directly. They're not targeting the YOLO, which is very interesting. They just want to clip it, I think, is the goal here for both of our teams. They don't want to target it directly, but they want to clip it. You can see this one a little bit more southwest side or closer to this little valley area versus their positioning, which is more right here. A little bit kind of more inward or inland than their opponents. But one artillery, again, is not going to puncture those shields. They're Seraphim shields, and they're supported by hives, so it's going to take a lot of punishment. But a second Hovatham is under construction. There's still a lot of focus on the YOLO, of course, but the fact that they're building another Hovatham, Team 1 is trying to have a backup plan for that YOLO. Team 2 not doing his own, but the first YOLO does land against the southern side of the map. Ooh, that's going to hurt. Ooh, takes out a lot of mass fabs. Takes out a decent section of the air grid. Actually, almost all of it is gone except for one structure, which is just a regular T3. Not even the HQ. Still has mass fabs here to the east, but man, that's a huge hole on that southern side. Team 1 needs more SMD on the northern side. They have 5 of them built now. Still not enough. That will be my one comment about YOLOs, is defending against them. You have 30 SMD. You don't have enough. You need like 200. Oh, it takes out more structures here. Instant, a little bit closer. But they're constantly nuking this position. They want to make sure everything is dead. Nothing is going anywhere. And it could just be it's on an attack order, so once it's ready, it fires. Could just be, I think that's what's going on with this base. They need to move positions. Looks like, yep, it is moved. The attack order has been given to go after this. It looks like you're going to this nuke first, then here, then here, then here. So what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nukes are primed, ready to go. And the reason they do that is so that we don't have to sit there, reselect the target. You know, constantly they can just focus on other things, which is smart. Wish they had saved a couple more of those nukes, but, you know, hindsight 2020 and all that. Another just little screenshot here of the YOLO here for Team 1. Maybe zoom out. Right there is pretty. Maybe we'll face it the other way. That's a nice look right there. Get a nice little screenshot of the other YOLO. There is 2 YOLOs. What's better than 1 YOLO? 2 YOLOs. But still, Team 1 pushing against Team 2 in the Navy. Now we have a Tempest here for Team 2, and they're building more all the time. Team 1 not really focusing on Navy anymore. We had invasion of the RASCOMs here. They're taking out 1 SMD from the AoE explosion. The RASCOM actually going to stand next to it to ensure it dies. Takes out the second one, trying to reduce the effectiveness of Team 1 of taking out those anti-nukes, taking out the nukes using anti-nukes. But we have a crab making landfall here to the south with assisting bricks. Looks like they're being chased by a crab, but the artillery is starting to puncture the shields surrounding the players here on that southern side. But, oh, one gets in. Oh, the second one gets in. Very close. That was very close, but I don't think they have enough to stave off another nuke. They have one. We have one, and I don't think they'll build another one in time. So now that northern position will start to fall fairly rapidly with the addition of a second and now I think a third Hovatham. That's a lot of firepower targeted at one player. Yep, that position for Team 2 falls quite heavily. Again, YOLO's constantly firing back and forth and back and forth. You can see one did impact the YOLO, but it's not enough. And the second one is already primed. This position is gone. Everything is gone. Still, no one is dead at 38 minutes with all of these nukes landing. These players know exactly what's going on. Hide in the water. Hide everywhere. This YOLO nuke actually landing here to try to deter some of the Navy here for Team 1. Another nuke. Oh, I thought one landed there, but maybe not. Oh, it's landing over here, trying to land to the south a little bit. But let's see. How does those... there's one here. That one's loaded with one. And that one's loaded with none. So maybe they'll edge it out, but there is one here too. Maybe we'll have to keep an eye out on that one. But that second nuke will land. The comm of Terranet might make it out of there just in time. That transport dies trying to move southward. All those engineers, all those hives are all gone. Air grid, most of it collapsing. Does have the quantum gateway online, and the comm did make it out of there safely. So, you know, that's a win for them. That YOLO did not land. There was enough SMD to block it. Drop bombers building up here to the southwest to probably go after, I would assume, the YOLO if they get a chance. There is an additional SMD to the south, but a lot of the SMD is actually pretty close to the PGen, so this would be a nice juicy target for Team 1 to take out. I heard another RASCOM go off. Don't know where that was. Another nuke tries to go on that southern side. They're trying to edge out, trying to at least try to hit the YOLO at least at a distance with air quotes. At least the minimum, not the minimum, but the max range of that YOLO. Artillery raining in constantly. Take out a couple of engineers. Almost took out that SMD. But man, it's just they're trying to puncture the shields, but those engineers and those hives keeping them online. More nukes now going to land here now. This YOLO lands, and one of them fired, but doesn't get anywhere. Oh, that's going to hurt. Will the comm die? No. Makes it out barely with a quarter of his hit points left on his comm. That facility falls as well. So now it's essentially the same thing. Mutually assured destruction here for both of our teams, but the issue is Team 1 has the advantage with the 3 artillery. I do love the play by Toka. Toka had the initial advantage. That whole northern side was gone. The Navy was gone. Even the naval units were being targeted. But the issue is that they weren't doing anything else to win the game. They just thought YOLO and win. But it's not really works that way. The strap bomber is actually going after the SMD and not the YOLO itself. Not enough strap bombers, unfortunately, here for them. But maybe they weakened the shields just enough. No, they didn't. They repped back up fairly quickly. But still, YOLO's constantly firing. Will not stop until until they're stopped. Couple of these Barracuda get back in the back line here for Team 1. Doesn't really go anywhere. And now the torpedo bombers will take everything out. These skimmers. Hit points will fall by the thousands. There is torpedo defense on those Tempests, but not enough to deal with all those. And now strategic launch. I feel like the announcer almost talks more than I do in this game, at least. Constantly saying strategic launch every, 30 seconds or so. That YOLO was pretty early for FAF considering, so, you would assume that just because you build it first means you win. It's not necessarily the case here in this game. They cannot puncture this position. There's so much shielding. They're repping up so quickly. They almost need like a Mava or something to puncture the shields. And they only built 3. They're building more shielding all the time, and they're building an Awasha. So maybe they're thinking they're just going to ram it down their throats and see. And they're building a Novax. So that might work. We are at 42 minutes. So not close to an hour yet, but we are starting to approach that 1 hour mark. Surprised that Team 2 hasn't gone after this position, but of course, you really can't. Ooh, this one looks pretty promising. That one is the first one fires off. It takes it out, though. Looks like another one fired, though, so maybe Team 1 has figured out they're trying to edge out on the southern side and focusing more of their build power on that section of the map. And this SMB still not dead. Strat bombers coming in over the time. Team 2 have lost their... Oh, shielding. Oh, it came back online. Just barely, though. ASF flying over the top, taking out the rest of Team 2's air. Of course, nukes landing all the time. They've even started to, branch out and build more SMD as we speak. But there's a couple of facilities here now for Wolf, trying to stay online, trying to be useful in this game. Oh, shields are starting to buckle. They come back online, but I think we're starting to see the wear and tear of them. They are trying to expand outward as we speak, but I don't think they have enough build power to cover all those shields. That's going to be a little difficult. But the SMDs are holding strong, though, trying to keep them online for as long as they can. And, oh, wow, 3 get launched. Get wasted one of those SMDs, unfortunately, here for Team 2. And that's what Team 1 wants. Waste your SMD. I mean, none of these are loaded. There's 3 in this one, so this one will be able to cover 1 nuke by itself. 4, 7. I hear torpedo launchers being thrown at somebody. We have a couple of strat bombers down here. A couple of strats aren't going to do a whole lot, unfortunately. I mean, yeah, you may be able to hit a couple of the shields, but you're just probing the shields at this point. Not really doing a whole lot. Maybe they're going after the mass fabs. This would be a good target for those artillery, though. Yeah, you want to take out the SMD. I get that. But, I mean, you could take out the build power and all of the eco here for Team 2, at least on the southern side. Team 1 winning by a huge margin at 2.1 mass per second versus 900. And, man, yeah, Team 2 starting to re-expand in that northeastern section. But, Team 1 already, staying strong. A bunch of SMD are already built, building more pigeons to compensate for the power requirements. And still, Team 2 launching, Team 1 launching. They will not stop. Who will win? You will just have to continue watching to find out, or skip ahead in the video, one of the two. But what's the fun in that? 2 anti-nukes leave their silos. This one gets taken out. Team 2 is still trying to, edge them out, but there is a lot of emphasis, it looks like, on the southern side of the SMD. Yep, trying to produce as much as they can.
Strategic launch detected.
There is an all-washer, which an all-washer this close to the main base is very rare, and it not be already destroyed. The bombs are launched. The shields aren't even really impacted. Oh, artillery needs to come in. This is the primary shield. This is the one that they want to not necessarily avoid, but this is where all the focus is. They're building more shielding as we speak. All-washer needs to come in once again. I hear RASCOMs go off in the main base. They're trying to target the YOLO directly here for Team 2. It didn't really work. Lasers are focusing on the SMD. They're reclaiming all the pigeons as we speak to avoid any volatile explosions. The all-washer is trying to do some close quarters bombing. There is a term for that. I forget what it's called. Not edge bombing. What's it called? Hover bomb. That's what it is. They're building a Scathis. See, now Team 2 decides, oh, probably should have a good idea. Is he teleporting? Where is he? Hold on. Where are you going? Esperanto, where are you going? Oh, you're going over here in the main base, and you got annihilated. Oh, that's got to hurt. The highest rated player goes for a big play, but all those banks of PD say, nope, not going to happen today. Sorry for that. The all-washer gets a bomb in with a shield exposed. Doesn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. Takes out that whole section of hives, though. That's a huge win for that section of the map. Taking out all of that assisting build power will diminish the rate at which the shield regens. Whereas taking out the pigeons will help diminish the eco that Team 2 has for regenning said shields. That shield is staying strong, though. Here, again, more RASCOMs being teleported in. A section of those PD are gone, but there's even T2 in the mix as well. So a lot of PD for defense. Nukes constantly raining in all the time, of course, not letting up. Both teams fighting to the bitter end. It's pretty much the story. Instead of a tale of two cities, it's a tale of two YOLOs. Trying to think of what I should do for the thumbnail. Maybe I'll do both YOLOs and say spot the difference or something.
Strategic launch detected.
But another one launches, and the Novax is going after the silos, which again is a good idea because you want to take out the enemy's defenses, and the main defenses are here. But shielding, this is the primary shield. You need something more powerful to puncture it at one time. Unfortunately, assisting the shield when it's completely drained, it does not work. You have to wait for it to fully regen first, and then you can assist it again. But you can't help regen it, because then the shield would never go down. It would go down and immediately pop back up. That is the only disadvantage to shields, is once they're down for a little bit. So you need that additional shielding. But we have a Tempest raining down plasma from nearby, and we have now another All-Washer making its appearance. The bomb is released, and they will try to land and take out something. Takes out nothing, but they take out the main shield, though. Oh, that's not good here for Team 2. The SMD are going to go down. Oh, that's going to hurt. The hives are going down. The All-Washer did not do a whole lot of damage itself, but with the additional nuke was able to take out the main shield. The SMD are being taken out one by one. Another nuke constantly landing. It's going to land a little bit short, it looks like. This one did land, at least from the explosion, it looks like it landed. Let's see. It's going to land once more. How much of that base will be taken out? Oh, it's starting to creep its way north. Oh, it doesn't do a whole lot. The shield's helping. Not helping, really, realistically, but it's just not edging as far north as that Team 2 would like. But with hardly any defenses for this next nuke, it might be the death of the YOLO here for Team 2. There's even strap bombers coming in to assist with taking out shielding. SAM sites trying to take out all the bombers. Here they come. We have some Aeon and UEF. Oh, it doesn't take it out direct, like all of it together. The satellites should be focusing on that. The nuke lands short. Could have taken out the YOLO, but now they're targeting the shielding. That's what they should be targeting, taking out its ability to protect itself. And then strap bombers come back in for another pass, take out the YOLO. And it looks like it's not game just quite yet, but now the artillery raining in all over the map. All-Washes and Tempest bombarding the coastline. Take out whatever's underneath it. It almost looked like that All-Washer took some artillery fire is what it looked like. And we do have a desync. Very unfortunate, but of course we have a couple of exits here to the east. Looks like Nikop control case decides he is out of the game. With the death of the YOLO is essentially that or bust for essentially both teams. I mean, there was the artillery here, but if this is destroyed, this is going to be destroyed right after. There were 3 Novaxes built as well, but of course we can just kind of tell what direction this game is going. Team 2 doesn't have a backup plan. They tried to build a Scathis, but stopped prematurely. They probably should have built artillery or something to help combat the enemy artillery. That wasn't the only thing that lost it for him, but it was just the fact they thought the YOLO would be like the end all to be all, and it really wasn't. So I'm going to speed this up just by 1, just so we can see all of the juicy strategic launches for taking out the rest of the defenses here for Team 2. Nubian takes out Adreski. Looks like somebody teleported in to take him out, or defeated by Adreski, and then Naka has been defeated as well. The nuke, it lands, takes out the mass fab farm to the south. Bombers raining in all the time, trying to take out that comm down here in the water. It's a 6v2. It's now a both Battleship Suki came in for some teleporting nonsense, but Wolf does end up retreating as well, and this is a win here for Team 1. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey so far. 100 casts is so many videos, but thank you so much. I greatly greatly appreciate it. Thank you all. Please subscribe if you've been enjoying the content. Please like the video. Please comment down below what your favorite moment was. How did you like the 2 YOLO battles? Was it epic enough? Was it not? Let me know down in the comments. And I will see all of you in the next one.